I'm making a Pokemon guessing game because I was disappointed by all the low effort and ad-filled apps that are currently available. I started this project over 2 years ago now, and the code really reflects that. Before I move on to adding more content, I need to fix a lot of the early mistakes I made when I knew much less about what I was doing. If you are interested in the development or games in general, consider subscribing to know when I upload next. One of the first things I'm going to clean up is the data management. I had everything separated into multiple files, so I'm just going to move them all into one class, Pokemon Data Management. The same was true for the Options Manager, so I'm going to move that into one file as well. After deleting the extra files, I need to go through and fix all the naming conflicts I created by merging everything together and renaming the methods. One more thing I need to change with the file management is moving the loading into try-catch blocks to ensure if no file is found, it doesn't cause a crash in the program. I was already kind of doing this with an if statement, but try-catch is less error-prone. I decided to move missing note to the 0 index instead of the last index for multiple reasons. First of all, that makes it so that I don't need to move the image and change the constant every time I add a new Pokemon, but also, since C# is a 0 index language, I can now search for Pokemon images by Pokemon number instead of number -1, which just looks a little cleaner. I don't even understand what on earth I was doing here. This is very stupid. I have a Pokemon list class, and then I have a class of Pokemon lists, which has a list of Pokemon lists, and then I'm creating an instance of that, and then adding. What? I can't even explain what was going through my head when I first made this. It's confusing to me, even. I'm replacing these cumbersome classes and lists with a single class that contains a dictionary with entries for each generation that each contain their respective lists. This process did not go easy, however. That large of a change caused a butterfly effect of errors that all had to be painstakingly worked out. I have no idea what this is doing. Load all save Lois. I have no idea what this actually does. I don't remember at all. I don't remember what this is doing at all. And I forgot to record that last time. I was previously hard-coding file names everywhere they needed to be, but this is a terrible practice because if I get one of them wrong, it'll mess everything up. I moved the file names into a static class and reference that everywhere instead. Now it's time for the scary part because at this point I've changed a lot of stuff and I have not tested if any of it works. I could press this button and it all just goes downhill from there. Oh, okay, well we've got a null reference exception right off the bat. Now let's test this out. What are the chances that this works? Probably 0. Oh wait, And that's what's the problem with copy and pasting. That probably wasn't the only problem, but that was a problem that I had to fix. Yeah, so it's still not working. Here I have a whole lot of trying to figure it out, but apparently I didn't record me actually figuring it out. I just forgot to add .json to the end of the file names. After I managed to get the app running again, I encountered a couple new bugs. Something weird was happening in the options menu now. It would strangely change what was currently selected, and then, when actually playing, the option in the settings menu was not being reflected in the actual choices shown in the game. It turns out this bug was being caused by me reorganizing the order of the generations. When I moved Legends Arceus after Gen 9, I forgot to move it in the options menu as well, and of course, I also forgot to record that, but that's fixed now. The submit bug was being caused by a random whitespace character at the end of the user input. What was weird is that it wasn't a space, a tab, a new line, or any other visible whitespace, so when I tried printing it out with bars on either side to test, it wasn't there. After trying several different regex replace commands, I ended up just replacing all non-letter characters with nothing, which is represented by the /W. This also has the effect of not checking for commas, apostrophes, or periods, so if you added or removed one of those from the Pokemon's name, it'll still be counted as correct, which I think is more fair anyways. Now that I've got everything working, I needed to do some general code cleanup, removing methods I'm no longer using, stuff I commented out, and debug statements. I also moved some code into methods for easier readability. Is this going to be the final organization of the project? No, probably not. There are a lot of things that I probably didn't think of, and I will improve on later down the line. One content thing I will add before the end of this video is the confirmation screen. I actually started working on this last time, however, I couldn't really figure out how to get it to work, so I left it out of the last video. This was desperately needed, as before, if you wanted to reset your progress, you would press the button and it would instantly be erased, with no safeguard. After finally using my brain, I was able to get the confirmation window working. So in here I have a function that takes in a string for the text that it'll display on the confirmation window, and then a string for the file name. I will adjust this confirmation window later to work like with anything, but right now this confirmation window is specifically designed to work with the deletion. I don't think anything else in this current program will require a confirmation window, so I'm going to leave it that way for now, unless I find another use for it. All this does is activates the game object that has the confirmation window in it, writes the text to the text in the confirmation window, and then sets its the global file name here to the file name that was put into this method. When the no button is clicked, it just does nothing. It sets the confirmation window back to being off. If the yes button is clicked, it calls delete data, which is down here. If all is put in, it goes through and it deletes all of them. Otherwise, it deletes just the file name that is specified. And up here are all the buttons for resetting the data. These call the confirmation window, give it a message, and pass in the file name for each individual one. And then the reset all just passes in all. So let's see how that works. So if we go to options here, go to reset menu and reset Gen 1, it'll say, are you sure this will delete your Gen 1 Pokemon data? If I press no, nothing happens, just says no button clicked. And if I say yes, yes button clicked, Gen 1 progress deleted. After getting some feedback from Solomon Gumball, whose channels will be linked in the description, I started work on combining the JSON files into one, for better organization and so there are less read and write calls being done. Unfortunately, changing the JSON file formatting has a cascading effect that changes a significant part of the codebase, so this change took a while. But at last, it's finally working. Just have to get rid of some of the code I commented out, and it is finally done. All of the refactoring, and I can get to some content updates. Lastly, I need to update the app. Since it's been about 2 years since I started, I'm now missing some Pokemon which I need to add back in. After fixing all of that, I'm feeling a lot better about the development. Now, I can start working on my long list of planned updates. And if you stick with me, I'll have a testing build available for Android and web browser soon, so you can try it out for yourself and give me some feedback. Also, I'm pretty new to devlogs. This is a medium I haven't really tried before, so I know that I need a lot of improvement. If you have any feedback for how I can make my devlogs better, I'm all ears. I hope I'll see you next time. Goodbye!